Well, this video is for Math 95, so this is more work on the rules of exponents and also what are called rational exponents, the fractional exponents, where the denominator is the root and the numerator is the exponent. You can write it either like this or like this. For these problems, we're going to stick to this notation right here, and we're going to combine this along with all these rules of exponents that we had talked about and worked with for the integer or whole number exponents. Now we're going to do with the fractional exponents. And feel free to use your calculator to add these together. I may do some of that myself. Some of them I may not use the calculator. So let's see. We've got x to the 1/3 and then times x to the negative 2/5. Okay? So this is really nothing more than this rule right here, right? And so we just want to add these together. 1/3 plus negative 2/5, or 1/3 minus 2/5, depending on how you want to look at that. Really all it's going to be is it's going to be 5 minus 6 over 15, or negative 1 over 15. And let's see here. 1/3 minus 2/5 and negative 1/15. Okay, so that says this will be x to the negative 1/15 power. And then, we want to express this in terms of positive exponents, so that's 1 over x to the 1/15 power. There we go. Okay, problem 4, s to the 1/3. S to the negative 1/3 raised to the positive 2/5 power. So now we're going to multiply these. That's this property right here. And so this will be s to the negative 2/15, and then write it 1 over s to the 2/15 power. And there we go. Okay, let's see here. What else? Well, let's look at number 6. We start out, what is that? X to the 1/2 and y to the negative 1/3, and then that's all being raised to the negative 1/2 power. Okay, so that's a combination of, this property along with this property. And so we just want to apply those. That'll be x to the negative 1/4. Y to the positive 1/6, or y to 1/6 over x to the 1/4. Okay, all right, now we've got some fractions here to work with. On top, b to the 1/2. On the bottom, b to the minus 1/4. So let's move that minus 1/4 up to the top and make it positive 1/4. And then when we multiply these together, we'll add those exponents. 1/2 plus 1/4, that'll be b to the positive 3/4 power. If you like decimals, we can call it 0.75. That's fine. Okay. Let's look at 12. Problem 12, what do we have here? X to the 1/2, y to the minus 1/3 on top, and then x to the 1/3, y to the 1/5 on the bottom. Okay. Well, as always, there's a variety of ways to approach this problem. What I like to do is to take this thing that has the negative exponent right there, move it to the bottom, and turn the exponent positive. So this will be x to the 1/2 on top, and then x to the 1/3, and then y to the 1/5, y to the 1/3. Okay, now we're going to apply, where is it? This property right here to the x's. And so I'll do 1/2 minus 1/3. So this is 3/6 minus 2/6, that's x to the 1/6 on top. On the bottom, we want to add these together. This is 3/15, this is 5/15. That'll be y to the 8/15 power. Okay. And again, you know, if you struggle with fractions, and I think this is a really, you know, this is a simple problem. You know, we're multiplying this by 5/5 and this by 3/3, and there's our 3/15 plus 5/15 to get the 8/15. So what I was saying is that if you struggle with fractions, don't be afraid to use your calculator, that's fine. But if you struggle with fractions so much that you're not sure how this works, I encourage you to take a look at this and try to understand how that works. Just because it's helpful in general. It's not a very complicated process, and I do believe that it's helpful. Okay, so that was number 12. Let's see. 14 gets a little bit complicated here, but we don't have any fractions except in the exponents. So x to the 1/3, y to the minus 2 raised to the negative 2 power, and then x to the 2/3, y to the negative 2, and that's raised to the 3rd power. So I'm going to start this one, I think, just by raising these to this power and these to this power. So this will be x to the negative 2/3, y to the 4th. And then we'll have x squared, right? 2/3 times 3 would give us 2, and this will be y to the minus 2/3. So if we add these together, 2 minus 2/3, what does that give us? 4/3, x to the 4/3 power. And then 4 minus 2/3, that should be y, I believe, to the 10/3 power. All right, yeah. So this is good. This is a good answer. If you're totally anti-fractions, that's okay. You can write it like this, but if you don't put those bars over the 3, I will take a little bit of points off for that because, you know, 0.3 and 0.3 repeating are different numbers. All right, let's see here. Well, on to the next page. Well, 16 is kind of an interesting problem here. We've got all x's, so that's x to the negative 1/3, and then x to the 1/5. And then on the bottom, x. And this is all getting raised to the negative 15th power. So, we've got a lot of choices here. You can simplify inside here, and then apply this exponent. You can flip this over and make it a positive 15, then apply that exponent. I'm just going to do this by applying that negative 15th power to all of these terms. So, negative 1/3 times negative 15 should give you x to the positive 5 power. 1/5 times negative 15 should give you x to the negative 3. And then in the denominator, x to the negative 15. Now I'll move these around, right? Move this one down here, take this one, move it up here. So now this is x to the 20th over x to the 3rd. And there we go, x to the 17th. Okay, what else here? Yeah, problem 18 looks like a good one. So we start out a to the 1/5, b to the 2/3, and that's being raised to the 15th power. And then in the denominator, just a squared. Okay. So let's see here. Raise this to the 15th power. 5 into 15 goes 3 times. 3 into 15 goes 5 times. Times 2, that should be b to the 10th power. And then on the bottom, a squared. So this is just a to the 1st, b to the 10th. here. Well, let's look at 22. It's kind of interesting. How do we start there? A squared, b to the fifth, and that's being raised to the negative 1/4 power. Then on the bottom, a to the minus 3b squared, and that's being raised to the 1/6 power. All right, so I'm just going to apply these exponents on top. We'll get a to the minus 1/2, b to the minus 5/4. On the bottom, a to the minus 1/2, b to the 1/3. And these are going to cancel each other out. Whether we shift them around first, right, move this one up on top, move this one on the bottom, and then make them positive exponents. Let's see, and then the b's both end up on the bottom. These just cancel each other out. I mean, you can do a half minus a half, you know, for this property right here. That gives you b to the 0 power, or I'm sorry, a to the 0 power, which is just 1, okay? So we're going to need a 1 on top there. And down here we need to add a third plus 5/4. You can do that on the calculator, but let's see. This is going to be 4, this is going to be 19/12. b to the 19/12. Okay. And there's one more on here. Let's see what that one looks like. Z to the 1/3. And then negative 2/3. And then 1/6. And on the bottom, z to the negative 1/6 cubed. Okay. Well, let's see what we get here. These two are pretty straightforward. That's going to give us z to the minus 1/3. Down here, that'll be z to the minus 1/2. So let's go ahead and swap these. So we'll end up with z to the 1/2, z to the 1/6 on top, z to the 1/3 on the bottom. So let's see. This is 3/6 and 1/6 make 4/6, which is 2/3. The 1/3 on the bottom, subtract these. 2/3 minus 1/3, 1/3, z to the 1/3. And that was problem 24. Okay, so like I said, really all it is just a refresher on these properties that we've already talked about for the whole number exponents. Now we're just doing it for the fractional exponents. I encourage you to think about what these are going to come out to be in terms of calculation for yourself. But when it comes to doing tests and quizzes, you know, go ahead and use the calculator. Not a problem. Want to make sure that you get the right answer. But it is good to, you know, not lose those skills in working with fractions. So this is the last topic before the midterm. I'll post this video up with a quiz, and those quizzes will be due next Sunday, the 25th, and then we'll take that week of the 26th to the 30th to do our midterm exams. And there won't be any assignments during that week, but then we'll pick up the following week and start in on the second half of the course. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.